Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! Taylor gets this one out towards center field to the short part, and it's a grand slam! That's a floater. Out to short. And it's booted off the shortstop's glove! Just like they drew it from Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! Grant Fournier, 2-run shot to right.
In terms of getting playoff games under our belt. But what's also been interesting is seeing how these teams have adapted to different conditions. And the reason why I say that is that tonight it's going to be about 95 degrees, same as last night. But what's important is that CHBR won game one by 1 run. A game or a go-ahead home run by RJ Mistero in the 5th inning was the difference maker at Folk Field last night. And now we return to the Belmar Rec Center, where we visited multiple times this year, and we get ready for a potential handshake game in Game 2. And again, everybody who played in quarterfinals last night resumes their series tonight at the opposite location. The only difference is Camden and the South Jersey Grizzlies. As far as we're concerned, all 3 of those games are being played at the Camden Athletic Complex, regardless of the home or away team. Now, first pitch was scheduled for 6 o'clock, but no umpires have showed up yet. We're right now sitting at 6:01 and haven't even broke ground rules yet. So we have both lineups. We have starting pitchers. Jared Vanderster is warming up for CHBR down the left field line. And then Haddonfield alum Dame San Martino is going to be pitching for the Roughriders this evening. But this could be a do-or-die game for the Roughriders because they are back-to-back champions of the Tri-County Baseball League. However, their season hangs in the balance tonight as a potential three-peat could continue if they win tonight, or the dreams of a three-peat would be dead if CHBR takes the win. Either way, though, starting lineups and first pitch and potentially umpires are on the way soon. When we have more information, we'll come back on the air and we'll be right back. Back from Belmar, we've got CHBR and the Roughriders. The last chance for Roughriders to advance their chances of a three-peat here in the Tri-County Baseball League. We'll see what their chances are of it tonight, but if they lose, their season will be over and we could have a handshake game on their home field. They come in as the higher seed, as the 4 seed in this TCBL quarterfinal. As Roughriders get ready to take the field, CHBR gets ready to take their bats to the plate. Let's take a look at the CHBR starting lineup presented by Harper Driving School. For Bones Marciano and his crew tonight, it's largely the same from when we saw CHBR in their 2 meetings in the regular season. Nick Sazelka takes center field and bats lead off. The Mistero brothers bat back-to-back. RJ Mistero is in left field. Jack Mistero at first base. They just competed in the American Legion State Finals up in Woodridge, falling to Cherry Hill 6-5 in a walk-off winner by Anthony Alessandroni. In the four slot, it's Damon Sirianni, another Gloucester Catholic product as designated hitter. Then it's Josh Genove at third base, Bobby Woodward of Immaculata behind the plate, John Rorick of Kingsway at second base, Frankie Ebling, who we saw pitch when we last saw CHBR in the regular season versus the Roughriders. He bats eighth and takes the shortstop spot. And then it is Thomas Carroll in right field batting ninth, and the starting pitcher tonight will be, Jared Vanderster for CHBR. So again, CHBR won their first game of this 3-game set, 5-4, a go-ahead home run by RJ Mistero, the RCSJ Gloucester product who has recently committed to Monmouth University up in North Jersey. He'll be getting a lot of extra looks here tonight with this series being on the line. And again, Dane Sammartino, the right-hander from Haddonfield. Of course, the Roughriders have played a couple of home games in the last few years at the Russ Spicer Diamond, which is where Justin Singleton and the Haddonfield Bulldogs, the high school team, plays their home games. Sammartino of the Indiana University of Pennsylvania with 24 innings this year. This is his 5th appearance, 5 earned runs, 6 walks, 26 Ks, and a 1.46 ERA. With a 0.25 whip. The interesting thing, though, for him is that he, again, 26 strikeouts in 24 innings. This guy is a high-velocity arm who, as long as he can keep the ball in the zone, really keeps a very, very clean slate. Again, a sub-2 ERA is always nice to have in the playoffs, but it's never guaranteed. We saw it with John Kenny last week for Burlington Township, that having that kind of arm is never guaranteed. Nick Sazelka will be the leadoff batter here for CHBR in Game 2 of this 3-game set from Belmar. 92 degrees, first pitch temperature here as we're going to get started just a few minutes behind schedule at 6:08 p.m. on this Tuesday evening. It's a hot one here in Belmar, but the bats could get even hotter. The defense could get even hotter. Let's see what we've got in store. CHBR and the Roughriders. And the first pitch of Game 2 is a strike called right down the pipe, and we're underway. 0-1. Sammartino working quickly in the 0-1. Sazelka crushes the ball out towards right center field, towards the gap, going back, and it is going to be a one-hopper off the bottom of the wall. Sazelka on his horse. He's going to go for third after some hesitation by the center fielder. He's in there with a triple. How about a flying start to this one as Nick Sazelka legs out a triple into the right center field gap, and that's how we get started here in Game 2. A 3-bagger out to the right center field. And it'll be RJ Mistero, the batter, who again had the go-ahead home run in Game 1 to get CHBR a 1-0 advantage in the series. So already runner on third for CHBR. Sammartino ready to go. First pitch. Upstairs. 1-0 to Mistero. Again, Mistero, a part of the three-peat national champions in NJCAA Division III baseball for JUCO, RCSJ Gloucester. It's foul down the right field line. We love a good hot mic here at DWB, but counts 1-1 to Mistero. Said he had to pump the brakes on that swing. 1-1, grounded out towards short. This is going to bring home Sazelka. Throw across the diamond is in time, and Mistero drives in Cizelka. So we've got a 1-0 CHBR lead for the first out of the ball game. This will bring up his younger brother, Jack Mistero, a recent graduate, class of 2025 from Gloucester Catholic. And again, he played in the Brooklawn Brookers American Legion State Final over at Woodridge. Cherry Hill won that game in a 6-5 walk-off. Cherry Hill scored 5 runs in the first inning of that game. Brooklawn clawed their way back, including a game-tying home run by Mason Myers, as it's 1-0. But then Anthony Alessandroni had the last laugh. I was talking with John Gallante the other night about how funny it was that two teams 15 minutes away from each other were playing an hour and a half away in Woodridge. A complex that I've never been to, but I've heard is very nice. I mean, the Thank You Classic, which Gloucester Catholic assistant coach Bill Gore runs, has played there a few times, and even a state championship, I believe, was played there, the Group 3, with Northern Burlington. 2-0. Ooh, almost offered at it. First base umpire says no. It'll be 3-0 here. So 1-0 CHBR in the early going. A triple out to right center. San Martino gets a 3-0 fastball to get down the pipe. Three balls, one strike, one away in a one-run ball game. Breaking ball off of his foot. And it's 3-2. We were talking about his older brother, RJ, batted 500 in his sophomore year at RCSJ, en route to their third straight national championship under Coach Rob Valley. The former head coach over at Temple before they closed their team after the 2014 season. Here's the payoff. Inside. So San Martino almost worked his way back, but missed inside that time. He picks up a free pass to Jack Mistero. Batter will now be another GC grad, Damon Suriani. One away, runner on first for the designated hitter, Suriani. That was only the 7th, if you combine it with regular season stats, would only be the 7th walk that San Martino has allowed in 24 innings this year. In the dirt, Carbone had a late jump, and Jack Mistero will trot into second base. Well, after last night's stalemate ended in a 5-4 win for CHBR, again, that go-ahead home run in the 5th by RJ Mistero won the game. You don't want to have a bad start in night 2, especially in a 3-game series. It's not like a 5 or 7 game series that you see at the professional level where there is a lot more margin for error. You don't really have that down here. If you have a bad night, or if you have 2 bad nights in a row, could be a wrap for you. 1-0 to Suriani. Grounded up the third base line. It's a fair ball. He looks the runner back, and now we've got a pickle. He's just going to run him out of gas. And Mistero, in an odd spot, is retired, but it will be a runner on first as Suriani gets aboard. That's going to be scored as a 5 unassisted fielder's choice, as he does tag the lead runner out. And honestly, that's a good play right there. One of the worst things you can do as a third baseman is fall to temptation. And one of the things that Jack Murphy did there was he refused to let go of the ball. He didn't let anybody phase him. He didn't let the base runner phase him. Because when you get into a rundown with a runner that's relatively quick like Mistero is, I mean, he was a point guard at Gloucester Catholic and broke a 70-year-old scoring record. He's a quick player, not just on the floor but on the base paths as well. What you have to remember is here's the 0-1. It's outside. Carbone goes to back pick. Runner was standing, but he whiffed on the tag. But the thing that you have to remember in this situation is that when you engage in a rundown, you're going to make the fielders gassed. So the best thing to do there is just, kind of de-escalate the situation, hold on to the ball as long as possible, and that's exactly what he did. Never had to leave his hand that time. 1-1 from San Martino. Another big jump by Sirianni. Now he's going to be trapped. He'll throw it back to first, and he will slide right in behind Ian Murphy at first base. And they'll hang on to it. And that time, Sirianni had an even larger jump, but he was able to sneak past the first baseman that time to stay alive in his ventures on the base paths. 2 outs, 1 on, runner on first. Outside to Genove. Genove out of Towson, the Division I in the CAA, just outside of Baltimore. When I go visit the Oriole Park at Camden Yards in Baltimore, I actually I like to park at a light rail train station just north of Towson and ride into the ballpark that way to skip the parking. It's low, and that's ball 4 to Genove. The batter will now be Bobby Woodward. Second walk allowed by by San Martino this inning. We've got 2 on, 2 away. First 3 for the Roughriders in the bottom of the first will be Shane Daly, Shea McKenna, and Ian Murphy, the center fielder, DH, and first baseman, respectively. But this will be the 6th batter of the frame for CHBR. Again, already working with a 1-0 series lead this week in the quarterfinals. We'll see what he's got in store. Here's the pitch. Outside. John Rorick, the Kingsway grad, on deck for the third baseman. 1-0 from San Martino is a ground ball up the third base line towards the manager, and it's foul. Yeah, CHBR has really leaned into a conservative hitting approach here in that psyche where if they don't have anything good to swing at, they're not going to swing at it. I mean, San Martino's hitting the strike zone decently well, but CHBR is kind of working him to the bone by just not swinging. It's the best thing. That's the best gift you can give to a pitcher is early swings. Give him a little bit of confidence and keep his pitch count low. There's the 1-1. Strike called. Just over the plate that time, and it's 1-2. Woodward the batter, and then if the inning continues, John Rorick would be next. But 6 batters have already come up to the plate for CHBR in the top of the first inning. Roughriders, the back-to-back champions here in the Tri-County League, looking to limit the damage. 2-strike pitch. Popped up foul. Came crashing back down that time on the ricochet from the kind of apparatus that overlooks home plate. See a lot of fields that have that. That's the one thing that I don't like about fields that have that, is that it kind of eliminates catcher's pop-ups. If a ball goes straight up in the air, good chance catcher's not going to be able to get it and it'll land on the apparatus. 1-2. Upstairs, Carbone exits from the crouch, and it's 2-2. 1 run on 1 hit. A triple by Nick Cizelka got the fireworks started. And then an RBI ground out by R.J. Mistero. A walk by Jack Mistero. Fielder's choice by Sirianni, and then Genove walked. So 1 hit, 2 walks, and 1 run yielded this inning for third base. There's a ground ball. Got it off the end of the bat, grounds it to short, throw across the diamond, is in time, and the side is retired. For what it's worth, pretty limited damage for CHBR. They score 1 run and get 6 batters into the order. Daly, McKenna, and Ian Murphy, the first 3 for the Roughriders after the break. Shane Daly leads us off for the Rough Riders in the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at the Rough Riders starting lineup presented by Harper Driving School. Again, Shane Daly, the center fielder, leads us off out of McDaniel. Shea McKenna, also of McDaniel, bats second at the DH spot. Ian Murphy at first base. As this one's popped up, first base, it'll go out of play. Stephen Schaefer is the right fielder batting cleanup. Jacob Watson is in left field batting fifth. Jack Murphy at third base batting sixth. Evan Carbone behind the plate in the seventh slot. Vincent Panvini, the shortstop, batting eighth, and Danny Vasquez, the second baseman, rounding out the order in the ninth spot. Just missed low and away, 1-1. Jared Vanderster, the pitcher for CHBR this evening, out of Salem Community College, led by 600-win head coach John Holt. Was outside, 2-1. Was a good year for Salem. First time in a long time they made the JUCO Region 19 finals. They placed fourth in that, but still had a momentous program win over, again, the now three back-to-back national champions, RCSJ Gloucester. Beat them in 12 innings in the opening game of that four-team tournament. Vanderster coming in with a 0.91 ERA in 23 innings. This is his sixth appearance. Gets jammed. This one will be in play. Vanderster yields to Jack Mastero, who makes the play. And there's one away. 0.91 ERA for Vanderster, a 148 on base against, and a 0.96 whip. So a sub-1 ERA and a sub-1 whip. Both very impressive numbers, and it's a good reason why Bones Marciano gave him the green light for today here in Belmar. Batter is Shea McKenna, a West Deptford grad, along with his younger brother Cole McKenna, committed to Old Dominion. This one's popped up right center field, and that'll be called by John Rorick. So 2 up, 2 down for the Rough Riders. Now Ian Murphy of Lackawanna will be the batter. McKenna's younger brother Cole has also played on the Rough Riders team sparingly throughout the years. He is listed on the roster and has played in 6 games for the Rough Riders in 2025. Ian Murphy, my apologies, out of Barton College, although I believe that is still a Lackawanna helmet he's wearing. 424 average for the first baseman. 7 extra base hits. 5 doubles, 2 triples. 14 for 33. There's a swing and a miss. So not only does he have 7 extra base hits, that accounts for half of his total hits for the Rough Riders. A 1.222 OPS. And the 0-1. Strike called. A light offering that time, 1-1 is the count. Murphy and then Stephen Schaefer, a Burlington City grad who got his feet wet at Norfolk State, the HBCU in Virginia, before transferring to Rutgers Camden. Hot shot to third, picked up. Throw over to first by Genove is in time, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for the ever so consistent Jared Vanderster. He's got a 1-2-3 frame, and after 1 here in Belmar, it's 1-0 CHBR.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
John Rorick leads us off in the top of the second in a 1-0 game. CHBR in front. Dane Sammartino with the first pitch. Strike called. 1-2-3 frame for Jared Vanderster. In the bottom of the first, Daly popped out. And so did Shea McKenna. Ian Murphy grounded out the third. So 7, 8, and 9 for CHBR in the second. Rorick, Ebling, and Carroll. 1-2 is the count. Up at the letters. 2-2 that time. CHBR got 1 run on 1 hit in the first, a base hit, or rather a triple. I was going to say base hit is a bit of an understatement. Out to the right center gap by Cizelka. Wins ball outside, 3-2 to Rorick. Rorick from DeSales University. 371 average, 13 for 35. 5 walks, 6 stolen bases for the speedster, and a 917 OPS. That's ball 4. Third walk yielded by Sammartino in the first inning for him. And I think one of the things we were saying about Dane Sammartino in the open was that if he can keep his control, he's a very top-of-the-line pitcher. I mean, there's a reason why, with how good IUP is for Division II baseball, there's a there's a reason why he's there. But he's just struggled a little bit with command so far. I mean, we talk about body language a little bit. He seems dialed in, and he's not missing the strike zone badly. But in that situation of Rorick, he's a smaller batter, 5'7", doesn't have the same strike zone that a guy like Frankie Ebling, who is going to come in at 5'11", 6 foot, or 6'1", is going to be able to do. Think about the taller players that not that we've seen, but that you hear about professionally, like a guy like Aaron Judge, who's 6'7", or even like a guy like from a couple years ago, like Adam Dunn. A very tall frame will get you a very big strike zone. That was a good tag by Vasquez, but he bobbled it, and Rorick steals second safely. Ebling we saw as a relief pitcher when we saw these two very teams in the regular season back in late June, might have been even early July, that we saw these teams. Got jammed. It's a foul ball down the right field line. Foul by a hair for Ebling. Ebling out of Gwynedd Mercy. He's pitched 10 innings this year, but at the plate, this is only his 10th at-bat of the year, and he's 1 for 9 with an RBI and a 444 OPS. That includes 2 walks for him this year. But obviously Bones Marciano giving him the confidence to start in Game 2 of this playoff series. That one, wow, that one skipped. How about that for a ricochet? That missed Carbone, and it hit straight off of the metal pipe behind the plate, creating a very interesting ricochet. Rorick goes to third. So Ebling, and again, he'll be followed by Thomas Carroll in the 9 slot. 3 balls, 1 strike. Rorick, who walked to start the inning, has stolen his way to third. Off the end of the bat, this will score Rorick. Throw to first is in time. And John Rorick comes home on an RBI ground out, so it's 2-0 CHBR, and both of their runs have come on RBI groundouts. And the batter will now be Carroll. We've seen in both of our meetings with CHBR this year, 1 versus Vineland, and again 1 versus the Roughriders, both in the month of July. Strike called to Carroll from Newman University. Of course, we know John Merck, former assistant at Rutgers Camden, now the recruiting coordinator at Newman over in Aston, Pennsylvania, about 45 minutes from here. Carroll's a .286 hitter, 12 for 42, has played in all 15 games for the third baseman this year. There's a strike called. It's 0-2. 791 OPS for Carroll. 10 walks, 6 stolen bases, and a 434 OPS. Or, I'm sorry, 434 on-base percentage, 791 OPS. 0-2 is a swing and a miss. It's the first strikeout for San Martino, and we'll turn the lineup card back to the top for Nick Cizelka, who tripled out to the right center field gap in his first at-bat, and then very quickly came around to score on the sharp ground ball by R.J. Mistero. Cizelka, another product of Salem Community College, home of the Mighty Oaks, who we've covered several times with DWB. In the dirt, 1-0. A lot of high praise from the folks that showed up here today for the Rough Riders for how well this field was lined. Of course, it hasn't rained in the last few days, but I think the last time we were here, it was either the day of or the day after a very hard rainfall. So the borough was able to get their pieces together and take care of this field very well. That one bounced off of home plate, but it is a fair ball. Throw to first is in time, and the inning is over. Talk about a space-high ground ball. He drove that one straight into the ground and right back to San Martino. CHBR gets another run. We're through an inning and a half here at the Rec Center in Belmar, 2-0.
Literally, they've been here twice, and they're about to score, or on the doorstep of scoring 50 for the second game in a row. Xavier Terry Brown. He is still on his feet. He's being shoved forward into the end zone. But who's got the ball? Look at Jason Solomon. The ball magically appeared in Woodbury's hands, and now they're back at the 50. This one's going back. This one's going to go to the distance. I don't see any flags. Did that just go for 100 yards? I think it did. I do not see any flags as Woodbury. Oh my goodness, Jason Solomon, have a day. He is the first man not named Taylor to score. Wow, that was good. Jack Mistero, 2 for 3 with a strikeout, a double, and a single. Looking to play hero. He's going to line this one into right center field, and that's going to drop. That's going to do it if they don't get a throw down. Mistero's going to second, and Danza's coming home. Sectional champions, Gloucester Catholic. They do it in a walk-off fashion as GC with Mistero.
Vanderster versus Steven Schaefer in the bottom of the second inning. The first pitch is up and in. To again the Burlington City grad. He was the first player in the history of Burlington City baseball, the Blue Devils, to reach 100 hits, which he did back in 2021. And then took his talents to Division I Norfolk State for a year before transferring to Rutgers Camden, where he is today. I mean, Schaefer's a phenomenal ball player. I've got to see him when he was just a sparse starter for Ryan Kulik and Rutgers Camden, and in the 2025 season, in the brief games that we saw the Raptors, he was almost an everyday starter, and it turned into almost something of a power bat. So a lot of praise for Schaefer, who has homered several times on the DWB cameras. It's outside. That'll be a 4-pitch walk to Steven Schaefer. It's the Rough Riders' first base runner, and now his fellow Rough Riders teammate, Jacob Watson, bats. Now, Watson, the last time that we saw the Rough Riders, was in the leadoff spot. But for a guy who is the Rutgers Camden all-time stolen base leader, which is a record that he achieved as a sophomore, I'm a little bit surprised at Noah Clement putting him in the 5 slot. But for a playoff game like this, oh, here we go. That was an element of surprise. It's going to get down. No play. Bunt single for Jacob Watson. And as much as we were surprised by Watson hitting in the 5 slot, it's even more surprising he drops down a bunt in the nick of time and gets an infield base hit to now set it up for Jack Murphy. So 3 straight Rutgers Camden teammates batting here in the bottom of the second inning. And then it'll be Carbone, Panvini, and Vasquez. There's a strike called. That was a beauty right there. Don't have any other way to put it. Dropped it down the third base line without issue. It was an excellent play. Murphy fouls it back. 0-2 is the count. Don't forget on Sunday, I believe that will be August 3rd, if I recall correctly. August 3rd will be at the, we'll be in Gloucester County as we hold up here. The 0-2 ripped out towards left field. This one's over towards R.J. Mistero, who makes the catch. And there's one away for Evan Carbone. We were saying on Sunday, August 3rd, tune in at 9 a.m. for some more men's league action in the semifinals of the SJMSBL, the South Jersey Men's Senior Baseball League. It's a doubleheader between Tanky's Tavern and the Gloucester County Royals. First pitch at 9 a.m. on Sunday. Game 2 starts at 12 noon. The way that playoff bracket works is that they play a 3-game set. You play games 1 and 2 one week, and then have game 3, if necessary, the next week. Popped up third base side, over and into the Cherry Hill dugout, and a player actually caught it in the dugout. How about that? Go by banana ball rules. If he makes the catch, that's an out. 0-1 the count, 2 on, and 1 down in the second. Vanderster delivers a fastball, and Carbone a little bit late on the swing that time. It's 0-2. Yeah, I mean, this is almost like Rutgers-Camden light, because you do have a lot of Rutgers-Camden bats here. Jack Murphy. I mean, we've seen 4 in a row here, and then it'll be Panvini and Vasquez. Inside. The Roughriders have had a decent share of managers over the last few years. They had Thomas Gasse at the helm for their first 2 championships in 2023 and 2024. He left the program to become the bullpen catcher of the, oh, hold on here. That one's foul. Or I apologize. He was the manager, I believe, from 2022 to 2023, won the first title with the program, and then left to become the bullpen catcher of the Reading Fightin' Phils, the AA affiliate of the Phillies. Then Jake Swerdloff came in 2024, won another title, and now it's Noah Clement at the helm in 2025. Outside to Carbone. I mean, you don't see that a lot with programs at any level where you have a coaching change that still results in championship caliber ball year after year. Another foul back that hits a pipe and goes right to Jake Watson at first base. But I think it's mostly because in a summer league like this, it's very player-led. You know, the manager isn't watching over the players. He more is one of them. And in a lot of cases, we do have player managers. Great example is Ryan Horner of the Cinnamonson Crew. That one's up. Both runners will advance. And we've got 2 in scoring position. The tying run on second base with Watson. A big pitch coming up here to Carbone. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away. A lefty on righty matchup. Vanderster versus Carbone. Bloop single could tie this one up. He's been late a couple of times. That one is sent way over the Belmar Rec Center building and into the parking lot. Still 3-2. Vincent Panvini, the shortstop, will be on deck. 3 balls, 2 strikes. First base still unoccupied. Let's see what Vanderster's got. Here's the payoff. Another one late. I really like how Vanderster's setting up that fastball outside to Carbone. It was a lot like what we saw last night with Logan Ruga with Vineland. When a lefty was at the plate, he would always set up that fastball outside, and the batter was either late or if he was early, he'd roll over. But Carbone's really getting the best of his strategy here with those fastballs out, not letting him get not letting it get the best of him. Another one, same song, and maybe the 5th verse. This is going to be pitch number 8 of the at-bat. as Carbone settling in for a long stay. Here in the batter's box, Panvini still on deck. A walk would load the bases with the Roughriders still searching for their first run of the evening. Here in game 2. Vanderster exhales and the 3-2 is grounded. He's behind it again, but here they will not throw to the plate. Schaefer slides. Now they've got to play at third. Watson is safe. The ball gets away. It's off the fence, and the Roughriders are going to tie the game with 2 runs on a base hit. It'll be a ground out to third for Evan Carbone, but Jacob Watson's crafty base running invents a second run. And he would have scored either way, because if the ball went out of play, not sure what the argument is here. Carbone meeting with assistant manager Jake Grice, who is out for the year. No, I apologize. So they didn't get anybody on that play. So Carbone's going to be at second. How about that? Yeah, I got confused because third baseman Genove went to throw it down. I guess he was safe, and then Mastero had a very quick throw to try to bring it back to third, and then the ball got away and Watson scored. So we are still going to have 1 out as Panvini will bat with the go-ahead on second base. Here's the 0-1 from the stretch. Late swing that time by Panvini, 0-2. So that will be, I guess it would be an RBI infield single. And then a throwing error would be attached to Mastero at first base. Very odd play that time because no out was recorded. And you can have a fielder's choice without having an out recorded. However, that would be more appropriate if, say, like a third baseman tried to throw home and the runner was safe. The reason why it's not a fielder's choice is because the third baseman's attempted out the first time was at first base, which he did not do. So a fielder's choice is where your first attempted out is at any base other than first. So in that case, it would be an infield single for Evan Carbone, and he would advance to second on a throwing error from first base. 2-2 is the score. We're tied. That one is high, and now the count will be 2-2. But I like explaining different rules like that and different anomalies in baseball because I've studied the game for 8 or 9 years now, and I know that there's some younger folks that watch these games and they don't understand why a certain thing is the way it is. There's a fly ball to right center field. This one could drop in front of Rorik. He puts his glove up. It will drop. Carroll's got to play. Stop sign for Carbone at third. It'll be a base hit for Panvini, and they have 3 hits this inning, as the back-to-back champion Roughriders are looking to defend their home field with valiant efforts here in the second inning. So Carbone advances to third. It's a base hit. His teammates giving some high praise for Danny Vasquez as he bats out of the 9 slot. He shows bunt just like Jake Watson did. It's up the line. Mastero will have a play. He tags out Vasquez, but he stalls long enough to score Carbone. And the Roughriders have taken a 3-2 lead. So a very odd sequence of events. It will be a sacrifice bunt by Vasquez. It's the second out of the inning. And the Roughriders, in the span of maybe 3 minutes, have taken a 3-2 lead. That one pops out of the glove. Woodward had some trouble corralling that one in, and now the runner is at third. We've got some interesting fundamental baseball going on tonight. But like I was saying earlier, I like explaining some of the rules to our viewers because I think it's important to be transparent about, because I keep my own score. I don't go off of the scorebook that the home team keeps or that anybody else keeps, because I think it's important to be fair and independent. I get very upset sometimes when we cover youth baseball and I look at the game changer, or I look at something else at the end of the game, and my scorecard is entirely different from what another parent put in, because there are inherent biases that exist with scorekeeping. And as much as a college coach isn't going to be looking at the difference of one hit versus one error in a travel series, it does matter. And high school's the same way. There's a lot of people that don't understand that it is beneficial for everyone to be fair in scorekeeping. I have no skin in the game. I have no emotional bias towards, or any kind of bias towards, which team wins tonight. I'm here to broadcast. I'm here to represent the great folks of Angelo Marciano and Bill Kohut. And this is a great series. That's what I love about baseball. Here's the pitch. Daly swings and misses. He'll have 2 strikes against him here. Count is 3-2. He's the 7th batter of the inning. Shea McKenna would be next if the inning continues. CHBR will bat 2, 3, and 4. The Mastero brothers, RJ and then Jack, and then Damon Suriani. So an all GC 1, 2, 3 in the 3rd. Here's the pitch. Popped up. This one is up, and it's back. It's towards the football camp, and it's out of play. There's a youth football camp going on behind us tonight on the home field of the Belmar Purple Eagles, who we got to see in November in the WJYFL Championships. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and batter number 7 for the Rough Riders as a part of a 3-run frame. Daly gets jammed, hits it over our heads again, and back onto the field on the left side. It's the 2nd inning, and they're already starting to run out of baseballs. Somebody might have to make a trip to Dick's Sporting Goods in the next few frames. 3-2 the count. There's a fly ball to center field. This one is backpedaling to the wall, and Cizelka makes the catch to end the inning. Damage done for the Rough Riders. They score 3 and bat 7 as a 2-run infield single by Evan Carbone scores 2, and an RBI sacrifice bunt by Danny Vasquez gets it home. The bottom of the order did their job, and they're responsible for all 3 runs coming across. We go to the 3rd here in Belmar, 3-2 Rough Riders. RJ Mastero, the batter, in the top of the 3rd. He leads us off in a 3-2 ball game. CHBR leads the series 1-0, and Mastero was the difference maker in Game 1 over at Folk Field last night. Had a go-ahead home run in the 5th inning to win the game, or to score the last run of the night. And he won the game for them 5-4. First pitch missed low. The other final scores from around the league last night in the quarterfinals. Washington Township beat Vineland 4-2. Very nice 6-inning pitching performance from Nicholas Evangelista as a frame misses outside. 2-0. Cherry Hill beat Cinnamitson 10-1. 4 Cherry Hill players hit home runs in last night's win. Luke Lesh, Montana Millward, Chris Rollins, and Austin Lay all homered. And then the other game we haven't mentioned, the Grizzlies beat the Camden Reds last night 3-2. Casey Brown with the win, Daniel Robeson of Rutgers Camden with the save. Mestero got on top of it, sliding stop it short by Panvini. Throw across the diamond is in time with the stretch by Ian Murphy, and there's one away. So Mestero grounds out sharply the short, and that's a good tourniquet for the Rough Riders as a 6-3 ground out is the first out of the third. Now here's the left-hander, Jack Mestero. Well, for those who like Gloucester Catholic, good news, we'll be covering them for 2 football games this year on DWB. Starting out in Week 1 on Saturday, September 6th versus Morris Catholic, and a North versus South battle coming to J.A. Lynch Field. And then on Saturday, October 11th, we'll have a Week 6 matchup between the Gateway Gators and the Gloucester Catholic Rams for our second of 2 with GC this year. And we do have some more GC news on the way, but I cannot announce it yet for our sakes. But let's just say we've been working with Ryan Murphy, the athletic director of Gloucester Catholic. He's an excellent guy to work with, and I'm excited to reveal what we'll be doing in the near future for the Rams. 1-1 is the count to Mestero. Damon Suriani, the designated hitter, on deck. Bases empty, 1 out. Breaking ball. Mestero gets on top of it. He's been great at forcing ground balls tonight, and Panvini saves it, and Mestero beats it out. That'll be an error against Panvini as he ranged over to his left and just couldn't gather it cleanly. And Jack Mestero reaches base for the second time tonight. Now, what'll be interesting, if you remember the last time we were here in Belmar in early July for the regular season matchup against CHBR and the Roughriders, and we'll have the first pitch. It's up high. If you remember, there are light towers here. However, they will not be using them. So this will be treated exactly like any other field that does not have lights, like Folk Field in Cherry Hill, Washington Township High School, or Runnymede Babe Ruth. From what we were told, the deal was that they get they get to use the field of their own volition, but the township of Belmar didn't want to host as many night games. Now, we were here in 2023, I believe. It might have been 2024 for the Thank You Classic, which hosted a few games, and the last one of the night that we covered was Delsea versus Notre Dame, which ended after the sixth inning due to a lighting delay. Not a lightning delay, but the light tower to our right down the first base line actually had several bulbs go out at once. And at that point in the game, I apologize, it was after the 5th inning of that game, Delsea was up 8-0, and both managers agreed it wasn't safe to play the game, and the game was pretty much decided anyway, so it was a 5-inning electronics-shortened game. It's a long travel for Notre Dame High School to get here. They're up in Mercer County, about 40 minutes away. That one's cracked out towards center field. Going back is Daly. He'll make the play. Mestero will backtrack to first. And Suriani flies out for the second out. Here is Genove. Genove being teammates with Max D'Alessandro, an RCSJ grad, who has been lighting it up for Towson this year in 2025. Got the chance to watch a couple of Towson games this year. Again, a part of the CAA, the Colonial Athletic Association, one of the smaller conferences for Division I baseball, but hosting a lot of teams in the Northeast. One of them was Delaware, the Blue Hens in Newark, but they recently moved to Conference USA for all sports. And I think that's been the issue with what we've seen from this conference realignment in collegiate sports, is that you see schools like USC or Stanford moving to different conferences. Delaware moving to Conference USA isn't exactly a world breaker, but entire schools are moving conferences just for football. But then it also applies to every single sport. What I mean by that is they are moving conferences for the sake of their football program, because that seems like that's all that athletic directors in collegiate sports care about these days. If you don't have a good football team, the whole university might as well go down with it. But it's outside 3-1. But USC, for example, moving to the Big Ten, that, of course, is interesting for the sake of football. But the problem with that is that when you have other programs that don't get dump trucks full of money like football programs do, it hurts everybody in the end. There's a strike called. For example, baseball teams, they often play, for Division I purposes, they play a 3-game series versus conference opponents, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And they'll often have a non-conference midweek game on a Monday or Tuesday. So imagine you're a team like Penn State who has to travel to USC once during the season for a 3-game set. There's a swing and a miss. Doesn't seem like much, but when you're a team in California that has 80% of your conference road games across the country, it puts a strain on their travel. We go to the bottom of the third here in Belmar. Still 2-0 CHBR. Three to 2 Roughriders in the bottom of the third. A little slip of the tongue that time at the end, but we've got Shea McKenna leading us off. McKenna, Ian Murphy, and Stephen Schaefer, 2, 3, and 4. Inside to McKenna. He popped out to second base his first time. He's 0 for 1. Roughriders scored 3 runs in the bottom of the second inning to give themselves the lead after CHBR jumped out to a 2-0 start. And that one fouled off of his foot. The top 2 batters in the order for the Roughriders, both out of McDaniel College, the Division III. Shane Daly, the center fielder, and Shea McKenna, the DH. About 100 miles away from here, just northwest of Baltimore in Westminster, Maryland. And for all intents and purposes, academically, they are a private liberal arts school. But McKenna earned several conference honors this season playing for McDaniel. Got on top of it, taps it right back to the hill. Vanderster with an underhand toss to first, and it's in time for the first out in the bottom of the third. Batter is Ian Murphy now. He grounded out sharply to third his first time. But yeah, we were talking about conference realignment. I don't think that Delaware moving to Conference USA will be a huge deal, because for conference games, they won't be traveling further west than, I believe, New Mexico, because New Mexico State, the Aggies, are in that conference. And up until a couple of years ago, it was just Louisiana, when Louisiana Tech was in there. But, I mean, there's ripple effects everywhere. The Pac-12 basically becoming non-existent, and then having to rebuild itself with smaller programs, with the only two holdouts being Oregon State and Washington State. I mean, it was incredible when we were watching college football on Saturdays, and you get the CW network covering just Oregon State and Washington State. But the SEC really isn't Southeastern anymore. The ACC certainly isn't the Atlantic Coast anymore. And the Big Ten is just more of a big national conference without any regard for geography. But I guess in today's game, where so much money is being poured into athletics with NIL and other booster programs and charities, it has made it almost unnecessary to keep your conference schedule strictly geographical. Here's the pitch. Sharp grounder out to short. Glove side play that time. It's a wonderful one, but Mistero gets pulled off the bag. So good execution by Ebling down there, but the throw was just a little bit wide. And that'll be the second error charged against CHBR so far, with Stephen Schaefer the batter. Again, all four matchups from last night are being repeated tonight at the inverse location, with the exception of Camden and South Jersey. As far as I understand, in all three games in that series, it will be played at the Camden Athletic Complex, which it is not the only field in this quarterfinal to not have lights. We were just at Washington Township last night, and we had to worry about the game ending due to darkness, but they played quickly enough to get through it. But I don't know if the Grizzlies agreed to play that full series at Camden or what the deal was, considering that Camden came in as a 9 seed after beating Burlington Township. One fouled back. But in the play-in round, 2 of the 3 teams had the lower seed that advanced. The 10 seed Blackwood Bears, or rather the 10 seed Vineland Gardens, beat the Blackwood Bears. 9 seed Camden beat 8 seed Burlington Township, and then the 11 seed Pine Barrens Phantoms fell to the Cinnaminson Crew. So Cinnaminson was the only higher seed to actually advance out of the play-in round, as Schaefer goes down on strikes. There's 2 away for Jacob Watson now. So Watson had a perfectly executed bunt single down the left field line, down the third base line, over in the second. Kind of kick-started that rally, because then Carbone, 2 batters later, had that RBI single to tie the game. And part of the reason why the game was tied was because of Watson's crafty base running. Advanced to third, forced Mistero into making a throw, and then his throw was wide, and with the ball staying in the park, Watson scored. So he comes into this at-bat 1 for 1. Next up for CHBR in the top of the 4th inning will be 6, 7, and 8, Woodward, Rorick, and Ebling. Inside. Watson had to duck out of the way for that one. Had to conform a little bit. That one's down. Cooling off a little bit here in Belmar with a tiny little breeze coming in, but as long as that sun is still over the concession stand down the third base line, it's still going to be pretty hot. Watson ropes one out towards second, backhanded by Rorick, and a nice scoop by Mistero to end the inning. Wonderful play by John Rorick after Ebling tried to do something similar but couldn't get the feet off the ground that time. This time it's the end of the inning. We're through 3 in Belmar. Still Rough Riders 3, CHBR 2.
Doubleheader reached first on an error in the first at-bat of Game 2. This one's lined into center field. Slider going over. He dives. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Ryan Slider makes the catch. Not on a slide, but instead on a dive. 2 away.
2 minutes remaining. 4 fouls on St. Joe's. 1 more and it's a bonus, which would greatly help Gloucester Catholic. The moving green guard! It's a 1-point game just like that! This place is going nuts! And now a drive to the basket by Spross. He lays it up and lays it in! St. Joe's has 2 timeouts remaining. Gloucester Catholic still has 3. Here we go. Mascaro pulls up. He goes to 3! 6 points! Jack Mascaro has tied the game with 90 seconds remaining. How will the Wildcats respond with a miss of
3-2 Rough Riders in the top of the 4th inning. San Martino gets a swing and a miss to Bobby Woodward. And it's 0-1. Woodward, Rorick, and Ebling. 6, 7, and 8. That one is roped. Left field fair ball down the left field line. Woodward got all of that ball. He's going to round first, head to second. And it's a leadoff double for Bobby Woodward. He gets himself on the board with a leadoff double down the left field line. So this will bring up John Rorick of DeSales. It's time for DWB Trivia Time. Today's question is, when was the last season, considering that the Phillies took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees this weekend and they've been in a bit of a rut lately, when was the last time the New York Yankees finished with a losing season, under 500? A, 1991, B, 1995, C, 2007, or D, 1986? The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the 4th inning. Rorick, the batter, after the double by Woodward. He shows bunt, pops it up. It will stay in play, however, it lands in the on-deck circle, and no fielder will grab it. So 0-1 to Rorick. Rorick walked and got to third, and then came around to score on the RBI ground out by Ebling in the top of the 2nd inning. It was the 2nd run for CHBR. They're still looking to tie the game, and they got quite a good start with Woodward's double. There's a bunt. This one's going to roll right along the chalk. Rorick has to hop over the ball, and it is swiped foul by the pitcher, San Martino, and he did all of that for nothing. And he'll have to walk all the way back to the batter's box. It was a great effort, and honestly, with how thick the dirt is up the first base line, he had a good play in making it, but San Martino waited until the right moment and got the ball to go foul. Patience was his best friend that time. So Rorick's bunt goes foul, and the count's 0-2. Popped up. This one's headed onto the football camp. That one's at least a little easier to grab for one of the players in the Rough Riders dugout. Still no balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, or rather nobody out, excuse me. And it's outside, 1-2. Would be a rather quick 1, 2, 3 there, but Frankie Ebling on deck. Ebling scored the 2nd run of the game for CHBR on a 6-3 ground out in the 2nd, and the batter that he scored was none other than John Rorick. Outside. Rorik walked in his first at-bat. He stole second base, advanced to third on a wild pitch, and then that's how Ebling came up as the very next batter to drive home Rorik. But the DeSales product manning second base today for CHBR will have a 2-strike count with nobody out and a runner on second, a courtesy runner for the Immaculata catcher, Woodward. That one is upstairs. It'll be 3-2 this time. San Martino, again, the right-hander originally from Haddonfield, who has been setting up shop at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, or IUP for short, the Division II. Ebling still on deck, payoff pitch here with a runner on second. Rorik puts it in play out towards center field. Playable for Daly. He'll go over and make the catch. Runner tagged for a second and then retreats. So Rorik flies out to center and the runner fails to tag the third. So Ebling will be the batter as he'll look to tie this game up in the top of the fourth. And now some shadows starting to come over to field with right now the time of day being just about 7:15. Gets jammed. It's off the glove of San Martino. Runner will hold. Now he's going to break. Here comes the throw to third. It is in time. Trucked him by a mile, and it's a double play. Aggressive base running by CHBR turns out to bite them hard. It's a 1-4-3-5 double play because that ball made contact with San Martino's glove, and the inning is over. That was not good base running that time, and the inning ends with a double play. A convoluted one at that, but we go to the bottom of the fourth with the score still holding at 3-2. Three to two Roughriders. An unusual double play ended the inning. It will be scored as a 1-4-3-5 double play as Ian Murphy, check that, Jack Murphy will be the batter to lead off the bottom of the fourth. It's a strike called. It's time for DWB trivia time. Again, today's question that we revealed in the top half of the inning was, when was the last year that the New York Yankees had a season under 500, or a record of, or a losing record, I should say? The 0-1 will skip low, and it hits off of the back fence there. The options are A, 1991, B, 1995, C, 2007, or D, 1986. Producer and I guess utility-man for us today, Vincent Folks, what's your guess? You'd be incorrect because they actually made the World Series in 1995. It's A, 1991 was the last year that they went under 500. They actually finished with 71 wins. They went 71-91 in 1991. And there was a stretch in the late 80s where they were the worst team in Major League Baseball. I can't remember in my timeline of being a fan of baseball, so about 2015 to the present, where the Yankees or the Dodgers were bad. There have been a couple of years where either team has made the playoffs, but they've been consistently good for decades. And the Yankees They had the 1991 first overall pick after having the worst record in the league. They drafted a left-handed pitcher, Brian Taylor, who is one of 6 first overall picks in Major League history to never make the big leagues. He got drafted, I believe, out of high school. I can't remember for sure, but Taylor was drafted first overall in 1991, had a lot of anger issues. There were a lot of fights in the clubhouses in minor leagues, and his performance was underwhelming, and the Yankees cut him in 1995. That one's popped up in the left field. R.J. Mestero heading towards the line, and he'll make the catch for the first out as Jack Murphy is retired. Batter will be Evan Carbone in the 7th slot. But one of the things that's interesting is outside of players who were drafted in the last few years, and for what it's worth, what am I trying to say? For like players like Travis Bazzana or Eli Willits who have just been drafted and didn't get the chance to make the big leagues, the last player to be drafted first overall without making the big leagues was Brady Aiken, who was drafted by the Guardians in 2013, then the Cleveland Indians at the time. He was the only first overall draft pick of this century to decline signing out of high school as the number 1 overall pick. He then goes to college, pitches for a few years, gets picked up in the 18th selection by the Astros, pitched for a couple of years, and his last appearance was in Double-A in 2019, and he never played after that. A lot of Phillies fans remember Mark Appel. He was a first overall draft pick in 2014, the year after him, also by Houston. And he didn't make the major leagues until he made it with the Phillies in 2022, at the age of 30. Carbone misses high, and count will be 3-1. Vanderster's had some decent control tonight. He's only walked 1 batter, which was Steven Schaefer, in the 2nd inning, and it kind of jump-started this 3-run rally we saw. Ball 4. So that is the 2nd walk we've seen from Vanderster. The Salem Community College product who has now signed with Towson for the fall of 2025. We also mentioned Josh Genove, who is in Towson as well, and former RCSJ player Max D'Alessandro, who is at Towson. That one's laced out towards left field by Panvini. Mestero goes back, and he makes the catch. Backpedaling. There's 2 away. 2 down now for Vasquez. Well, I mentioned being at Towson before because, they're going to have a courtesy runner at first for the catcher Carbone. But we were talking about how when I go to Baltimore Orioles games, I like going to the station just above Towson to park and hop on the light rail because it's $35 to park at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, and you know how bad Phillies parking is. It's worse in Baltimore because at least with the Phillies, you have like 30, 40 parking lots that just sprawl all throughout the sports complex. And then in Baltimore, it's all packed into the city, so it's even worse. But Vasquez out towards center field. This could drop. It will not, and Cizelka makes the catch to end the frame. We are through 4 in Belmar. Still, score holds at 3-2. We'll see if somebody will break here in the 5th. We'll be right back. Thomas Carroll leads us off in the top of the 5th inning. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds, you can book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman at 614 Lambs Road. One out to Carroll is low. 9-1-2 for CHBR in the top of the 5th as they look to tie this game after, well, we had a lot of offense early on, and now that's come to a screeching halt. It was a 2-0 game, and then the Roughriders scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 2nd, and we have not seen a peep of offense since. A handful of hits, but nothing else. Here's a 2-0. Strike called. Carroll, Cizelka, and R.J. Mistero, the 3 due up for CHBR. They scored 1 run on an RBI ground out in the 1st and did the same in the 2nd. And, of course, those 3 runs by the Roughriders have been the offset. There's another one, and he works his way back into the count. 2 strikes against Carroll now. I really like that pitch selection there from San Martino. Keeps his guy on the ropes. Gets 2 changeups to go back into the zone. It might have been a fastball in the first pitch and then a changeup there. That ball's crushed. Right center field going back. It is off the bottom of the wall. It one-hops off the top of the wall. Carroll's going to go to third. Here's the relay. He is safe. The throw gets away. Carroll's in at third. And CHBR has their 2nd triple of the night as the tying run is 90 feet away as Thomas Carroll does his job and then some out of the 9th slot of the order. And now the other guy who's had a triple for CHBR, Nick Cizelka, bats as the leadoff man. I really like that piece of hitting there by Thomas Carroll. He saw everything he needed to see from San Martino, and then when he found something that he liked, he didn't hesitate and drove it out to the right center side of the gap. Fouled back by Cizelka. He's 1 for 2, had a triple to lead off the ball game. He then promptly scored on a ground out by R.J. Mistero. He grounded out to the pitcher, a 1-3 put out, or 1-3 ground out in the 2nd inning. San Martino to Cizelka, infield on the edge for the Roughriders. Outside. Obviously a very aggressive approach from the Roughriders, but a very fundamental one at that, with the tying run at third in the top of the 5th. Like we said, it's right around 7:25, close to 7:30. No guarantee we get a full 7 in tonight with not having access to the lights. Fouled back. Again, it's a very complicated situation, and I can't explain fully why they don't have access to the lights, at least not on air. But it definitely gets some people confused because they're like, well, why do we play here if they have light stands but don't use them? It's kind of like having an empty salt and pepper shaker. Time called at the plate by Cizelka. And that's the thing that's interesting about these light stands is that if anybody knows anything about baseball and light towers, these are very expensive. It's kind of like putting a Rolls Royce in your garage as decoration. 2-2. But in a prime location, this is a well-kept field. Hasn't rained in the last few days, so the infield dirt has held up really nicely. Outside to Cizelka, he hops out of the box, and it's 3-2. R.J. Mistero is on deck. Him and his younger brother, Jack Mistero, getting lined up. 3-2 ball game. Thomas Carroll 90 feet away from tying this thing up. San Martino with the payoff. That is low. Changeup didn't hit that time. It's a triple and a walk. Cizelka reaches for the 2nd time, and now the last man that you want in this situation, R.J. Mistero, is the batter. He hits with nobody out and 2 runners on. Carroll again slugged a triple to right center field, and then Nick Cizelka walked, working the count full. And now Mistero will be the batter. Again, hit 500 in his sophomore year with RCSJ Gloucester across an entire season, even dealing with a wrist injury that sidelined him for the last 2 weeks of the regular season, and then was almost on a strictly bunt-only basis until the championship of the Region 19 final and beyond into the national championship in Albany, New York. So a big breath from RJ, and he'll bat here. Runners on the corners, and this is very similar to what we saw last night. Montero was a go-ahead home run in the 5th inning of Game 1. We'll see what he's got. Look out, that one's up and in. He'll duck out of the box accordingly, and it's 1-0. But yeah, he had that go-ahead home run in the 5th inning last night to give CHBR the 1-0 series lead. It was 4-4 tied, and then it was the go-ahead. This is a different situation, but very similar circumstances. Got a 1-run game, but this is where things can be polarizing here. If Montero grounds into a double play, the game is still tied, but you have 2 outs. If there was 1 out in the inning, you'd be a lot more concerned. Runner goes. That one's lined. The game is tied. Left center field. Carroll will come in to score. On his horse is Cizelka to third. It's an RBI single for R.J. Montero. He drives it in into the left center field gap. It goes over the head of Panvini, and the Roadrunner has tied the game for CHBR with a laser to left center field over the head of Vincent Panvini. It's 3-3. I really like that piece of hitting there that time from Montero. He didn't wait too long. He saw a couple pitches he didn't like and was able to sit back on that one and drive it over the shortstop's head. Didn't get too much launch angle on it, but he certainly got a lot of velocity. Big swing by Montero there. The good thing for CHBR is, as quickly as they tied the game, Cizelka with a hit and run moved from first to third on that single by Montero and is now 90 feet away from scoring as the go-ahead run. Strike called. Inside corner that time, and it's 0-2. So Jack Montero batting with his younger brother RJ on first, and the leadoff man out of Salem Community College, Nick Cizelka, 90 feet away from breaking this game back in the favor of CHBR. 0-2. Upstairs. He'll lean back on that one. I mean, CHBR really has a lot more strengthened of a lineup this year with the Montero brothers being a new addition. Obviously, we've seen Woodward in previous years there. Ebling. Cizelka relatively new as well. Runner goes. It's a swing and a miss. They will say that he did not make contact with it. So Montero does move to second base. It's a strikeout. It's Sammartino's third of the night. And now Damon Suriani bats in an even better situation because Montero stealing second base breaks up the double play opportunity. Or at least the conventional double play opportunity. 2 runners in scoring position and 1 away. In a 3-3 tie game, top of the 5th inning. Infield back to the edge of the grass with the Murphy brothers, Vasquez and Panvini. That's in the right field. It's going to drop in front of Schaefer for a base hit. He drops it. Here comes Cizelka, and here comes Montero. 2-run single to right, and CHBR has taken a 5-3 lead as the cleanup man, Damon Suriani, laces a single to right. And here in Game 2 of the quarterfinals, he puts the Roughriders, the back-to-back champions of the Tri-County Baseball League, on the ropes. The thing is, tonight, with a little bit of clouds over the horizon, we'll probably only have about 30 to 35 minutes is my estimate. Sunset is set for 8:04 p.m. this evening here in Belmar, but you know, it's not like they're running off of a timer. They run until they can't see the baseball anymore. So Suriani with a 2-run single to right, scoring Cizelka and Montero, and that stolen base by R.J. Montero was so helpful because he probably gets held up at third without it, even with Shaver bobbling in right field. So still 1 out, and CHBR has scored 3 runs, 1 to tie, 2 to lead. And they now lead by 2 with Josh Genove at the plate. San Martino still in after a mound visit by Clement. First pitch is a strike. It's 0-1 to Genove. He's 0 for 1, a walk and a strikeout to his name tonight. One skips away, and the runner will go down to second. By the way, we have a final. The South Jersey Grizzlies have beaten the Camden Reds 7-0, and they have punched their ticket to the semifinal round. Now, we'll have to see how everything works out, but I mean, listen, the Grizzlies beat the Reds 3-2 last night. This one was a lot more convincing, a 7-0 final. Outside. And a little bit high that time. 2 balls, 1 strike to Genove. Bobby Woodward, who doubled to left in his first at-bat and then was retired in that unusual double play in the 4th, will be next. That one skips away. Carbone has trouble with it, and now the runner breaks for third. So CHBR not afraid to advance on the base paths. They now find themselves again with a runner on third. And again, the other games going on tonight, Vineland and Washington Township in Vineland, 7 p.m. first pitch there, and then Cinnaminson at Cherry Hill Pittman at Cinnaminson in game 2. That one skips away. It's ball 4, and that ball again popped out of the glove, so it's ball 4 for San Martino. Now Bobby Woodward is the batter. There is a right-hander warming up, number 49. Believe that would be Cole Bauman for the Roughriders. In a 5-3 game, top of the 5th, 2 on for Bobby Woodward, who roped a double to left his first time, or his last time at the dish. That goes right through the legs of Carbone, and he'll go down to second. I mean, this is a short backstop, so there's not a lot of room for error, because there can be very weird ricochets, but San Martino's throwing the ball very low here. I don't know if he's trying to force a couple of swings and misses on balls outside of the zone or whatnot, but Cherry Hill's been running hog wild here in this inning. Roughriders still with chance to shut it down. Here's the 1-0. That one's low. 2 balls, no strikes. I mean, that's just the best way I can describe it. I mean, the Roughriders have played very well up to this point, and they are now trying to put a tourniquet on this inning and then turn it over to the bottom of the 5th, where they have their top 3 guys, Daly, McKenna, and Murphy, who in a pressure-filled situation can certainly do some damage and make some noise. There's the 2-0. Outside. So I would say, for what it's worth, this game is not over by any means. But I think it's pretty much, just in my opinion, set that we won't be going 7 tonight, even in the quarterfinals with no lights here. 3 balls, no strikes to Woodward. John Rorick on deck. A walk would load the bases, and it does. Back-to-back for San Martino. Cole Bauman did come in from the bullpen. And Clement will go out to the hill, and that will be his second mound visit of the inning. And that will be the end of the day for Dane San Martino. Batter number 8 will come up for Cherry Hill after the break, as Cole Bauman, the right-hander, will replace San Martino as a roaring 5th inning. 3 runs across. He exits with the bases loaded, and he will exit with... All right, looks like we're returning here. 2 outs. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 away. Bases loaded for Thomas Carroll, the 10th batter of the inning. He led off this frame with a triple. That one's high. Well, this is looking very similar to the situation with the Roughriders and the Grizzlies from back in June. Because right now it's 7:46. And CHBR has scored 4 runs this inning to take a 6-3 lead. Carroll fouls it back. So we had an outage right as San Martino was being taken out of the game. Here's what you missed. Cole Bauman came in. John Rorick had an RBI single to left that moved everybody station to station. Ebling struck out swinging as batter number 9. And Thomas Carroll is up at the dish now with a 2-ball, 2-strike count with 2 away. Bauman, another foul. But if you remember that Rough Riders Grizzlies game, it was where the Rough Riders scored 6 runs in the final inning, and then darkness ended the game. And it was very controversial at that. Now imagine that on a playoff scale. We might have to wait for it, though, because, well, if they can keep enough daylight to complete the inning, then those 4 runs will count. But we'll see what they've got on the board. It's 6-3, going to the bottom of the 5th. Vanderster going back out for the 5th. Bottom of the 5th inning. This broadcast is brought to you by DAWG Professional Wrestling, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events and non-stop entertainment throughout the Garden State. For more information on future events and ticketing, visit dawgprowrestling.com. Also, if you're a civic organization, charity, or other club or charity that would like to bring some flair, some spice to their next event and their next outing, book DAWG to make your next outing one to remember. Visit dawgprowrestling.com for more information on how you can bring New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization right to your next outing or event. 2-0 the count from Vanderster to McKenna. That one's fouled back. And there's our view right now just above the Belmar concession stand. One from Vanderster as a strike called to Daly. They do bat their 1, 2, and 3. Daly, Shea McKenna, and Ian Murphy. And if necessary, Steven Schaefer. This game got turned on its head. 3-run lead for CHBR, 4 runs in the top of the 5th inning. It's outside. So again, the Grizzlies are the first team to know that they are headed to the semifinals with a 7-0 win over Camden. Popped up third base side. That one is caught at short. 1 away. Apologize for the hot mic that time. And there's 1 away for McKenna. the inside. McKenna almost tried to wear it, but it's just a little bit inside that. One ball, no strike, or 2 balls, no strike, excuse me. That one missed outside to McKenna. So if this is the last complete inning that they can get, again, I don't know how much time they're going to have left. With it being a mostly cloudy day, we do have a little bit more sunlight than on an overcast day. Fouled back by McKenna. Two balls and 1 strike. So the quicker that CHBR can get this inning over with, the better. But the Roughriders staying true with some long at-bats in this one, like we saw with Carbone earlier in the night. That one's outside. What I really like about McKenna's approach, he keeps that bat really close to his head. He cocks it back a little bit, and then in his swing, he's able to bring it back and then load into the ball. Oh, he's got something in his eye. He'll step out of the box. He's something in his left eye, it looks like. The gnats and the mosquitoes and all of the wildlife that comes out here in Belmar, they can get pretty rough around this time of year. That is ball 4 to Shea McKenna. Now again, they will play until visibility becomes too much of an issue for them to play. But again, with the commissioner and the league coordinator on site tonight, Angelo Marciano and Bill Kohut, 2 of the top people in line for, making sure that stuff gets done around the place. The rule is, and we've seen it enforced at several junctures this year, you have to revert. That one's out, called a strike. 0-1. Murphy doesn't appreciate the call. So McKenna reached first on a walk for his first plate appearance, or for his first on-base appearance tonight. It's 0-2 now. But again, frustrations can run a little bit high with a season hanging in the balance. Not only that, but a chance at 3 straight championships. The Roughriders have won every Tri-County title, every Carter Cup, since we signed on board with this wonderful crew in 2023. It's been the same rematch every year. Roughriders and Cherry Hill Pittman. Runner goes, Murphy. That pitch was inside. It's saved by the shortstop, Ebling. Kind of careened through everybody that time as McKenna steals second base. Counts 1-2. But again, you have to revert the results back to the last complete inning. So if the Roughriders get 2 runs and take their time, and then they can't see anything, then the results of the last inning wouldn't count, and the last score you would revert to is 3-2 Roughriders. And it's the inverse of what we saw with the Roughriders and the Grizzlies back in July. Or I want to say it was in, I apologize, late June. Umpire will brush off home plate, but time is of the essence here. The Roughriders in that Grizzlies regular season game at Runnymede scored 6 runs in the 6th inning, and their rally was doing so good that they took too long and it didn't count. And even though a protest was filed, it was unsuccessful, and the Grizzlies won that game 6-3 instead of what the final was when the last pitch was thrown, 9-6. Strike called. Murphy strikes out on the outside corner, and there are 2 outs here in the 5th. So now Steven Schaefer is the batter. You'd have to imagine that with the folks on hand here tonight, time is very much of the essence, as it has been in every game this season at a field without lights. McKenna, the runner on second, 2 away. 3-run game. Schaefer pops it up out towards center field. Cizelka going over. He will make the catch. And that will end the 5th. We'll see how much. Let's see. The base umpire is signaling to the CHBR dugout. They are saying one more inning. So this will be the final inning if they can complete it. But CHBR has, with that out, has locked in that score. So regardless of what happens, those 4 runs will count. We'll be right back. We go to the 6th, 6-3. Top of the 6th inning, Zelka is the batter. As, again, the base umpire, Tom, who, by the way, we've had for 3 straight days. He was the home plate umpire on Sunday when we did our men's league game. He was the home plate umpire on Monday in Washington Township, and now he's the base umpire tonight. Bauman, the 0-1. Oh, wow, that hit him right in the chest protector. 1-1. But it actually hit the umpire, not the catcher Carbone. But neither seem phased by it. It's 1-1. So again, CHBR with a 1-0 series lead, with the bottom of the 5th ending. That locked in their 4 runs. Because I think for the good of the game, we can all agree that nobody wants a situation where a playoff game and a series deciding game ends in darkness. Imagine if we have a game 3 tomorrow night because that 5th inning was never completed. That would have been extremely controversial. It would be the rules, but it would be controversial. Sazelka swings and misses. Carbone tags him out. And there's 1 away in the 6th. And again, the base umpire signaled to both dugouts that this is the last inning. Whether they complete it or not, this is the last inning. Because it's just shy of, it actually is 8 o'clock on the dot. Here's RJ Mistero. He's driven in 2 runs tonight. High shot out to short. Throw down to first base is in time. And he's going to have 3 ground outs to the shortstop. An RBI single in the 5th, and then 3 6-3 ground outs. Here's his brother, Jack Mistero. So he'll finish 1 for 4 tonight. And then Mistero, 0 for 2. A walk, an E6, and a strikeout. There's a strike called. And again, RJ Mistero had the go-ahead home run in Game 1 to win the game over the Roughriders 5-4. And a lot of neutral faces in that orange and black dugout. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2. I will say, for the Roughriders' credit, they are working through the CHBR lineup quickly. A strikeout and a 6-3 ground out. They may leave that window barely open long enough. And again, all it takes for this game to end is an umpire to say that there's not enough light left. Here's the 0-2. Strike 3 called. Mistero goes down looking, and the inning is over. He strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. And CHBR, all they need is 3 outs. This game is official. And again, the umpires have noted this is the final half inning of the night. It is 6-3. and we've got a very interesting finish coming up, and Jared Vanderster will try to close it out and look for a 6-inning complete game here in Belmar. We'll be right back. Bottom of the 6th inning. This is the final half inning of the night, as dictated by the umpires behind home plate and in the field. This broadcast is brought to you by Rowan College of South Jersey at Gloucester campus. Join the Roadrunners today for a top-of-the-line experience, and not only that, they are winners on the field and they are winners in the classroom. One of the best junior colleges to get your 2 years in and get your associate's degree in the state of New Jersey. You can become a prospective Roadrunner today by visiting their athletic website at rcroadrunners.com. You can follow them on social media at RC Roadrunners as well. This one's floated down the left field line. It will drop. It's a fair ball. Jack Mastero's got trouble with it. Shane Daly on his horse to second base. Check that. Jake Watson on his tail to second base. It's a double. And the Rough Riders are going to need to work quickly because they need 3 runs and they need to beat not only Mother Nature, they have to beat Father Time as well. Sounds like a 2-on-1 battle. But runner on second with Watson getting the double, looped it down the line. Again, as Vanderster will try to close this thing out. I would like to see them complete the inning, obviously not guaranteed. Strike called to Jack Murphy. It's 0-1. Again, we signed on with Tri-County Baseball in 2023, and the Rough Riders have been the only champion we have known in those 3 years. Back-to-back titles. That one hit our mic. It's fouled back. It's 0-2. He's got some good aim on that one. That's funny. It's 0-2. Grounded foul towards Noah Clement. Murphy and then Evan Carbone will be next for the Rough Riders. But with the history of the Carter Cup, which was named in 1987, .02 is down. The Rough Riders would have been the first three-peat in Tri-County since Belmar went 3 in a row in 2008, 2009, and 2010. Of course, nothing beats the 5 in a row run by Dr. Connor in the late 90s, winning every title from 1995 to 1999. A 4-peat by Miller All-Stars from 1985 to 1989. And a 3-peat by Haddonfield in 1970, 71, and 72. And those are the only 3-peats that we have seen. Belmar, Dr. Connor, Miller All-Stars, and Haddonfield. There's a swing and a miss. Murphy chases a fastball upstairs, and there's one away. So not only have the Rough Riders won the last 2, they've won 3 of the last 4. They won in 2021 as well, downing none other than Cherry Hill to win the championship. So 3 of the last 4 years have been the same matchup. The only difference was 2022 where we saw Washington Township versus Vineland, with Vineland winning their first title since 2018. So it's been very interesting to see this season unfold. There's a ground ball. Out to second, it's Bo. It's kicked away by Rorick. And that will put runners on the corners here. Up and in. Want to know the count. Strike called. So Carbone will reach on an E4. It's the third error by CHBR today. All in the infield. 1-1 from Vanderster. There's a ground ball. It's off of Vanderster's foot. It goes towards Mistero at first. He will have a play, but it's not in time. And Watson will score. So things are getting interesting. It'll be an RBI single for Vincent Panvini. It scores Watson. And now Watson talking with Danny Vasquez. And, well, Bones Marciano's going to come out, and he might change Jared Vanderster here. It would be very interesting to see if he goes for a pitching change, because you would certainly be buying some time and maybe effectively wasting some time as well. I mean, they don't have too much left. What you're seeing on your camera right now is pretty accurate to what we're seeing up here. But actually a pretty quick mound visit there that time, for what it's worth. And Vasquez, who drove in a run in the second inning. Oh, 1 is popped up foul. Well, the Rough Riders could stay alive with the tying runs on base. But a double play could end this thing and send CHBR to the next round. Possibly with a matchup with Washington Township, depending on what happens tonight in Vineland. Here's the 0-2. Ground ball. Whoa, look out. That almost drilled Shane Daly in the on-deck circle. Almost a self-sabotage that time. Still 0-2. Vanderster, the 0-2, is in the dirt. He'll pick it up, and he'll send it back to his pitcher, Vanderster. He's going to look to complete this game. And the 1-2. That one's lined foul. Wow. That would have been very close, and it was very close. One ball, 2 strikes, tying run on base for the Rough Riders. It's going to hit him. It hit him, and the bases are loaded. And Bones Marciano has a very tough decision to make, because if he makes a pitching change and it takes 2 to 3 minutes to warm up a pitcher, he's got it. He's going to have the mound visit, and he's going to take out his right-hander, Jared Vanderster. I didn't see any. There is one warming up back behind the dugout out of our view. Jared Vanderster comes out of the game with 5 innings and 1/3, and it's a race against the clock. Cherry Hill Babe Ruth has the winning run on base against them. He exits with the bases loaded. He finishes with 3 strikeouts, and 3 earned runs, 1 unearned. How about this? This is going to be a very interesting sequence. We'll see what they've got at 6-4. Mark Grubb out of Rowan University is the new pitcher. He has appeared in 5 games this year, 10 innings, 6 earned runs, 6 walks, 10 Ks, a 4.2 ERA, and a 286 on base against with a 1.8 whip. The first batter is Shea McKenna. It's a 2-run game. Bloop single could tie this thing. That's a line drive. It's caught by John Rorick. He tags the bag at second base, and CHBR will move on to the semifinals on 1 pitch from Mark Grubb. Not only do they beat the clock, they beat the controversy, because Rorick with an unassisted double play, and for the first time since 2022, a champion other than the Roughriders will be crowned at Alcyon Park in 2 weeks' time. Final score 6-4. John Rorick with a flashy play at second base to win the game, as Grubb forces a 4 unassisted double play to Shane Daly on the first pitch. If that ball gets down, this game is tied. But it is a 4 unassisted double play, and before we can even catch our breath, the game is over and the series is over. CHBR, your ticket for the 3rd straight year is punched to the semifinals. As first-year manager Noah Clement and longtime manager Bones Marciano, they exchange a friendly hug at home plate, and we'll grab our player of the game, because this was a hot one tonight here in a hot game. It's still reading 88 degrees on our little radar here in Belmar. What a night it was. An unassisted double play ends the game. Your player of the game will be Jared Vanderster, who threw 5 1/3 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, struck out 3, and really was the big reason why this game was the way it was. What a night it was for him, as we'll be right back with our post-game interview. that mic a little bit closer. There you go. We've got our DAWG Pro Wrestling Player of the Game. It is Damon Suriani. Only had one hit tonight. He had a fielder's choice and a flyout, but the hit that mattered was the go-ahead 2-run single as a part of a huge fifth inning here in Belmar. Dame, this was a great game for you, even coming out of the DH spot when you're usually a catcher.
Yeah.
You had your work cut out for you tonight. How'd you feel up there today?
Felt pretty good. DHing. I did all college season, so just going in there tonight, sticking to my approach, and just hunting for fastballs when I'm ahead of count, and then when I'm neutral, just trusting my ability to hit both pitches is something that I take a lot of pride in. So just doing both those things was something I came today thinking, and that's what I did.
Well, that's one thing that we thought was interesting about Dane Sammartino, the starter for the Roughriders. He only gave up 6 walks in the regular season, had a handful of them tonight. You guys had a very conservative hitting approach.
Yeah.
Last night was also very close. It was a 5-4 game.
Yeah.
RJ made the difference with a solo home run. You guys just knocked out the back-to-back winning champions here.
Yeah.
This is big. You guys I believe you guys faced them in a semifinal series either last year or 2 years ago. This is not easy to beat the Roughriders, but this year you guys were able to do it and do it in a sweeping manner. What does this win mean for you guys going into the semifinals?
Yeah, it's honestly a big win. We lost them last year in the championship, so we had a little chip on our shoulder coming into this week, trying to knock them out just like they did to us last year. And we got another good team next week. A couple of my college players or teammates, I guess you can say, on their team. Township Senators next week, so I'm kind of excited to go out and play.
Was that final? Did they win?
I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
Win, so.
I don't know. It was 4-2 last night, so we don't know.
Yeah.
The only thing we know is that the Grizzlies beat Camden via forfeit, 7-0.
Yep.
So that's the only thing that we know. But other than that, you guys have had such a good year this year, and obviously a lot of additions to the team. You've been here for a little while, but Jack and RJ Mastero coming up in 2025, that's been huge for you guys. You guys seem really loose as a team, very close together, very just kind of vibing together very well. How do you think that emotional bond that you guys have connects you guys and gets you guys wins at the end of the day?
I would say, when it comes to baseball, I would say, the biggest thing is just having guys that are, close together and, have like good friendships. Just having the trust in each other and, just knowing the guy behind you get the job done is, one of the biggest things when it comes to baseball, So.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck to you next week. Damon, thank you very much. We're going to close out with you signing the bottom of the scorecard. We always do this at the end of
Anywhere?
Anywhere nice and big on the bottom. Usually we have a pen, but I think I left one at home, but that's how we do things around here. We work with what we have. Damon Suriani, your player of the game. Go ahead, 2-run single in the fifth inning.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course, thank you very much. Best of luck.
Have a good one.
All right, that's your final tonight, 6-4, CHBR over the Roughriders, the back-to-back national champions. I keep saying national champions. We're in like a 30-minute radius. Back-to-back Tri-County Baseball League champions have been eliminated as the first-year manager Noah Clement was only able to get their team into the quarterfinals. But let's talk about the winners. CHBR, they lost to the Roughriders in the semifinals last year, and this is a huge series. They only won by 1 run last night. They win it by 2 tonight. And one of the things I'm glad about is that the game did not end controversially. We were talking about it off the air about the Roughriders-Grizzly game from July. It might have been late June, if you remember. Roughriders scored 6 runs, and 0 of them counted because of the darkness that fell upon Runnymede Babe Ruth. Now, the Grizzlies, again, via forfeit to Camden, they have clinched their spot in the semifinals, and now we know who 2 of the teams are, CHBR and the Grizzlies. We're awaiting results from Cinnaminson and Cherry Hill and results from Vineland and Washington Township. Then they will reseed. So the lowest team still remaining is Vineland in the 10 spot. And for those who don't know, we will be covering a Game 3 tomorrow night if one of those series goes 3. It's not guaranteed. I honestly thought this would be the series to go the distance, but in baseball, you can never be so sure, right? The back-to-back champions of this league got knocked out, and now we don't know what we're going to do. We're going to have our first our first unique champion since 2022 when Vineland won it, and they're on the ropes down 1-0 in this series as well. So that'll be all for us tonight here on this now becoming a dark Tuesday evening here in Belmar. Final score 6-4 CHBR over the Roughriders. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator Haley Mejia, our graphics crew Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Carson Rosso. My producer Vincent Folkt, I'm Dan Wilkins. We will potentially see you tomorrow night. If not, we'll see you Sunday for SJMSBL baseball between the Gloucester County Royals and Tanky's Tavern. Have a good one, folks.